Now, recently, the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Oman has repatriated another group of 290 stranded Sri Lankan nationals from Muscat to Colombo by Sri Lankan Airlines in collaboration with the Foreign Ministry, the Presidential Secretariat, and Sri Lankan Airlines. The group mainly consists of Sri Lankan nationals who lost their jobs in the aftermath of COVID-19 outbreak, as well as those who completed their employment contracts in the country. Many Sri Lankan female domestic workers who stayed for a long time in the embassy safe house due to the various disputes with their sponsors were also repatriated with the group that were recently dispatched to Sri Lanka. Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the Sultanate of Oman, His Excellency Amir Ajwad, extended his appreciation to the government of the Sultanate of Oman for waiving fees and for fines for expired visas during the lockdown period due to COVID-19 in the country, and also facilitating smooth return of the stranded Sri Lankan nationals back home. Now, to talk more in detail about the repatriation flights, welfare of the community of Sri Lanka based in the Sultanate, and COVID-19 in the country, we have a very special guest joining us today in our show. Let's welcome His Excellency Amir Ajwad, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Oman. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us in today's episode.
Thank you. Thank you for the Times of Oman for this opportunity.
It's a pleasure to have you, Your Excellency, on our show today. So we were just talking about the repatriation flights of Sri Lankan nationals stranded in Oman, and it says that additional 290 nationals have been repatriated from Muscat to Colombo. Could you please, Your Excellency, tell us how many nationals have been repatriated so far, and when exactly the repatriation flights began in Oman to Sri Lanka?
Yes, we in fact started our repatriation flights from last June, and so far we have repatriated more than 870 Sri Lankan nationals from Muscat to Sri Lanka. And we have another group of Sri Lankans, around 290 Sri Lankans are scheduled to leave next week by Oman Air to Sri Lanka. And then by that, I think we will complete more than 1,000 Sri Lankan, stranded Sri Lankans being repatriated. And also we will arrange more flights in the future for the return of our nationals from Muscat to Sri Lanka.
Your Excellency, you just mentioned that 290 more Sri Lankans have been scheduled for the next week's flight. Besides this group, how many other nationals are still in line or still waiting for the repatriation flight?
Yes, we have still, I think we have recently registered, I think around 1,000 Sri Lankans have still registered with us, and then we are in the process of arranging more flights in the future for repatriate them.
Your Excellency, you just pointed out about the registration process. What exactly is the procedure? How can the Sri Lankan nationals living in the Sultanate of Oman can reach to the embassy and register themselves if they wish to return back to the country?
Yes, we have established a system for this purpose. I think we have been maintaining this system for last many months. And then those who wish to return to Sri Lanka, they can register with the embassy. And we have dedicated email address, and also we have dedicated WhatsApp and IMO numbers for them to register with us. So I think it's on the screen. The number is appearing, and the email address also is there. So then once they register with us, and then they are absorbed to our system, and then we update our list, keep on updating our.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Yes.
Sorry, Your Excellency, we actually lost connection with you in between. Could you please repeat the last sentence after you said updating list?
Yes, we are updating the list. I mean, as and when the people here register with us, and then we will forward that list to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombo to arrange repatriation flights in coordination with our special task force, presidential task force established by His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka. So then, once we send the list of people, the presidential secretariat or presidential task force schedule the flights for repatriation.
So, Your Excellency, you just mentioned about the procedure. How long does it usually take for the procedure to take place? For example, if the national has applied at the embassy, how long does it take for them to be notified that the flight are being scheduled or that he has been selected for the flight?
Yeah, well, it's a process. I think we have not only from Oman, we have people coming from all over the world and to Sri Lanka, and then the government has to. One more thing I specifically mentioned here: the government of Sri Lanka arrange this institutionalized quarantine. The government provides accommodation, food, all other facilities free of charge for those who arrive in Sri Lanka from different parts of the world. So we need we have many government maintained quarantine centers. So when the government, of course, the task force will be coordinating with the centers, and then when there is a space, and then we will give priority to those countries who are in a destitute situation. So we may have some delays in arranging flights because of the lack of facility, lack of spaces in those quarantine centers. But we still get flights, scheduled for in future 2 months, and then to make sure the predictability for Sri Lankans to return. But in the recent past, I mean, we have of course two categories of flights we are organizing from Sri Lanka, and one is those people who wish to go to the government maintained quarantine centers. The special flights carry them for those centers. And then the second category, for those who wish to go to hotels to self-finance their quarantine, and then we have designated hotels, and then we arrange separate flights for those who are willing to go for self-finance quarantine centers. So these two categories, we are organizing the flight. So we have so far organized from Oman. I think we have three flights have already left, and also we are organizing the next week another flight by the Oman Airlines will be flying. So we keep on registering people, and we keep on arranging with the government for their repatriation so far.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now, you just mentioned that, about more than 800 have already been repatriated, and with 290 additional next week, it's going to cross the 1,000 mark. And also, you have additional 1,000 registration at the embassy for the nationals wishing to return back. So, Your Excellency, with about 2,000 people, registered at the embassy, how do you prioritize with the nationals who needs to get on the flight first? What is the process like?
Well, of course, we need to prioritize because the number is big, and then we give priorities to medical emergencies and pregnancy, jobless loss, those who lost their jobs, and also those who had completed their contracts and expiry of their contracts. And these are the priorities that we consider when we prepare a list. And we know that there are people who wish to go for holidays, so we also arrange the flights for those people who wish to go. And also we have system here. We have established a system here to prioritize them on those bases.
Right. So, Your Excellency, we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 situation, not in just Oman, but across the world. In fact, there are some countries who are actually predicting and in between the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. During this time, what exactly were the initiatives taken by the Embassy of Sri Lanka for the welfare of the community, for the welfare of the nationals in Oman?
Of course, the Sri Lanka embassy in Muscat, of course, have been very proactive from the day one. The COVID-19 pandemic was the spread of or outbreak of COVID-19 was realized, and of course, we have been taking different measures to protect and also to look after our community in the Sultanate, and also with the help of our social community club and also well-wishers of the Sri Lankan community in Oman. We have been distributing a large number of dry rations for those who lost their jobs and they stranded here in Oman, and also I have been issuing or releasing video clips educating them how to take care of them and also to take precautionary measures to protect themselves and also to protect others around them. So this has been very effective in the past. We have been educating, and also we have been translating the Supreme Committee on COVID-19 of Oman, those decisions taken by the Supreme Committee into our local languages to educate and update our nationals to comply with those decisions. And also the mission also have taken care of our those who are affected by the COVID-19, those our community members, those who are affected by the COVID-19 or suspicious of COVID pandemic. We have been helping them also. We have established a panel of Sri Lankan doctors and a contact some hotline services for those Sri Lankans who have been affected by this pandemic, and they can call them and then get their medical advice and also assistance from them to how to protect themselves. And also we have introduced a kind of an ambulance service for our community members for those who want to go for testing and maybe for those who are affected to go to hospitals and all. Then they can make use of the ambulance service of the embassy, and then we have established this in collaboration with the social community club. And also we have established 2 safe houses in the embassy, and for the benefit of those female domestic workers who seek shelter at the embassy especially during this pandemic situation, and they come from different parts of Oman. So then to shelter them during this pandemic situation, we have 2 separate safe houses for that purpose. And also we are maintaining also for a temporary safe house for male migrant workers who lost their jobs and who have no place to stay. And also these are the measures that we have taken to safeguard, to look after our community. And also we have hotline services, and we have dedicated emails to communicate with them, so to provide our services during this pandemic situation.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I would really like to commend and appreciate all the initiatives and efforts made by the embassy as well as the community club that is in Oman in ensuring the safety and security of the nationals living in the Sultanate. And I absolutely love the idea of actually opening the embassy as a safe house to the domestic help in the country. That is something very different and very unique that the Sri Lankan embassy actually has opted for. How did this idea come up, Your Excellency?
We face some difficulties in accommodating them in a small place, and then maybe these domestic helpers, they are coming from different parts of the from Oman, so we don't know who is who and who is infected by the COVID or not, and also we had to have these to initial we do have some initial test at the beginning when they arrive at the embassy, so we use these safe houses for to isolate them, non-affected or negative and positive cases, so if there are any. So for that purpose we have been maintaining this for last 3-4 months.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Congratulations once again for taking care of the community members in the country, and also for opening the embassy as a safe house to the people who actually needed help in this crucial time. Once again, congratulations on these amazing efforts done by both the embassy and the club in the country. Your embassy, talking about COVID-19, and you just mentioned about, people who actually fell victim to the virus. Were there any nationals, Sri Lankan nationals, who were the victim of the virus?
Of course, not many. Some people were affected by the virus, and then now they are recovering. They have many also recovered, and unfortunately, we lost 2 lives of Sri Lankan nationals in Oman due to COVID pandemic. So, and I take this opportunity to thank to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq and His Majesty's government for taking care of the expatriate communities here in Oman, their healthcare and all. So the the medical care they have provided during this pandemic situation. I really appreciate that gesture.
Thank you, Your Excellency. One last message for the community members out there who are listening to you right now.
During this situation, I think I know many of my community members are willing to return to Sri Lanka for various reasons, including holidays. So, but as I already earlier mentioned, the Sri Lanka government is providing quarantine facilities for 14 days, free of charge, accommodation and everything, all facilities. So the people keep on coming from different parts of the world, Sri Lankans to Sri Lanka, and most of them are provided these government quarantine facilities. So there may be some delays in scheduling the flights to return back to Sri Lanka due to these reasons, and also the constraints that we face at the quarantine centers. So, but we keep on trying, and we keep on arranging the flights, and then we keep on sending the list to the government, and then the government is very seriously considering to get back all the Sri Lankans who are stranded abroad, and then the government is implementing special procedures, special mechanisms for this purpose, and also we have been. I like to ensure and also assure my community in Oman, we will keep on continuing to arrange flights from Oman to return back home, and then I would appeal to my community to be patient, and also to safeguard yourself, and to safeguard those who are around you, and also to be safe during this very unusual situation. And thank you all my community members for your kind cooperation to the embassy in this regard. I take this opportunity to send my appreciation to my community members, all my community members, and also to to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, and also His Majesty's government for closely cooperating with us, and also to assist us in the smooth repatriation process to return our expatriates, our community members back home.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was an absolute pleasure having you on our show today. It was indeed very informative, and it was very heartfelt discussion with you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and all the best.
Thank you. Once again, I would like to remind all the Sri Lankan nationals tuned into our show right now that if they want to get in touch with the embassy for any queries or repatriation flights, they can get in touch with them on their WhatsApp and email number that is flashing on our screen right now, which is 917-44387, or they can also get in touch with them through their email address, which is returntosl@gmail.com.